Hello and welcome to the Equestrian Mums Club podcast. We're your hosts, Katie Allen Clark and Sophie Conway, avid equestrians and recent first-time mums. Join us and a herd of other guests as we discuss the wild ride of parenthood and horse care together. Now it's time to take up the reins and walk on into our next episode.
Hello, everybody. First of all, we need to apologise hugely because this is the first Equestrian Mums Club podcast we've done in absolutely forever because we are equestrian mums. Katie's working. And so there's a bit of irony there that we don't have time to do it, but we're back with a vengeance. We are creating more content and we're kicking off with this today. So this is, what number is it, Katie?
Well, I think we might be on 48 now.
48th Equestrian Mums Club podcast with a bit of a break in the middle. And today we're just going to be catching up, aren't we, Katie, really? Catching everyone up on what we're doing.
It's the end of March, and you know, if you're a previous Equestrian Mums Club podcast listener, that's a mouthful, then you all know that we tend to do these at the end of the month. Just, catch up with people, tell everyone where we're at. And the last time we had a catch up was in January, friends.
Was it really?
So, really. So, we're back. We're back. We're going to catch you up on where we've been during the 2 months of what seems like the longest time ever.
Yeah, it does. Feels like 2 years.
Don't you think, again, like the irony in this is that it's sort of the relationship you have with your friends, isn't it? When they go, we should catch up, and you're like, yeah. And then 4 years pass, and you're like, oh yeah, you still exist. Well,
yeah, I mean, I feel like the irony is that we are trying. What our mission was with this was to try and support really busy equestrian mums that are also working, doing everything else, and trying to juggle family life with their horses, and we can't do it. So that's the irony.
Well, hopefully listeners to the show previously will feel supported and empathise that, hey, we're going through the same things as well. But we're going to try and refocus our efforts, aren't we, Soph? Back on creating the content for you that makes you feel like you're not alone, but also we can discuss some of these interesting topics that we all go through.
Well, from my point of view, I feel like I've finally, where Ruby is now nearly 6 months and we're going to wean her soon and she's almost sitting up, I feel like I've finally pulled myself out of a swamp. It feels like everything's slightly easier now that she's a little bit older. So we are refocusing between us.
Do you know, that is mad, isn't it? It feels just yesterday that we were talking about you going into hospital and her being born, and I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Where on earth has it gone?
What everybody does say with your second, everybody said to me, with your second, time really does fly, and it has. It's ridiculous. And I had a moment yesterday where I was like, oh my god, I need time to slow down a little bit because they're both at really cute ages and they're both being really sweet. And then today I was the opposite and I was like, oh my god, would you two just grow the fuck up?
Do you know, that's really interesting. I've not heard that before. I want to know, parents that have got more than 2 children, does it go like in a millisecond when you've got 3 or even 4? Like how much quicker does it get? Because
with your first, I think you're like, oh, I wonder when this is going to happen. I wonder when that's going to happen. And with your second, you know when it's going to happen, but it just seems to accelerate. And you're so busy all the time because you've also got another one. And yeah, it has just flown by. The day.
Have there been any moments where you're like, where stuff has happened on a very, very different timeline to Olive?
Yeah. Ruby's not even rolling yet. I think it's because she weighs the same as like a baby hippo. But she's almost sitting up, and I'm not worried about her. But yeah, she won't roll over. I don't think she can haul her mass over. They're completely different. They are completely different. It's weird.
I remember being somewhat concerned that Rafe wasn't rolling around at all. But then again, he was a really big child. So
I think
he is.
I think it's to do with maths. Can you, before we go into anything else, can you tell us a quick update about your horses? Because I don't know and I want to know. Where are they all?
Well, that's a good question. Most days I'm not sure either. So I currently have Lottie at home, so that's my ridden mare. She's at home and she's good. We had a little horse knock injury a couple of weeks ago, which required a vet visit, but nothing's touch wood major happened there, so she's good. Currently, I have brought one of the yearlings back home, Dukey, who's, if anyone follows Instagram, he's the dun with the goose-shaped blaze. And he's come home to learn a bit more manners from Lottie, because he is just about to turn 18 months and he's a little too big for his boots.
I think they get like that.
Well, he, despite being the younger one, was mobbing my poor patchy yearling, who's actually going to be 2 in May. But he was mobbing him, and it just got to the point where I thought, do you know what? He needs to learn horsing from somebody that isn't afraid to assert their dominance.
Yeah, put him out with something that will tell him.
And oh boy, does she tell him! But
Good.
not in a. She won't attack him.
Yeah,
but she will just, guard her ground and her food. So that's going down pretty well. And then the patchy one, Tucker, he is actually up for sale. Although I haven't had much interest at the moment. I think the market is a bit strange.
Yeah.
But he's buckskin Tobiano, so he's like cool looking. And he's going to be 2 at the end of May. He's growing into such a lovely chap now. We had a bit of teething issues at the beginning, but he's currently with a friend down it's about 30 minutes away from us, and she's looking after him, or rather he's looking after her retired dressage horse.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and he seems to be getting on really, really well, and just he looks like he's got a sigh of relief not being bossed around by this little oik.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So yeah, but they're all doing well in their own regards, but it means that Lottie's little pal has gone back to my friend, and we still don't really have a need for Denny the Shetland back at home at the moment.
Yeah,
so
you've got the 2, which is quite handy.
It is, and it is also a lot less time consuming, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But of course there's always something to fill it with. So yeah.
No, I know.
But yeah, that's them at the moment. I'm not really doing much riding just because we're still looking to sell our house, and so every spare moment of the day that I get, it's cleaning, tidying the house, and getting ready for another stuffing viewing. But yeah, it's when I do get on board, my big orange creature is behaving really well and feeling good. So I cannot complain, Soph. I just wish I had a little bit more time to enjoy them,
Yeah,
but I think that's common.
I think that's pretty much everybody, isn't it? I think most people, well, I don't know if they would actually, but I think a lot of people listening probably already know that I lost Oscar last month to a horrific disease, basically, which is called guttural pouch mycosis, which is a fungal infection, incredibly rare. Like, the vet that came out to him had never seen it before. She'd heard of it, never seen it. But what happens is they only need like a couple of spores, which they breathe in. And then it just grows over a long period of time. And there's no there isn't any way of detecting it. And even if they had scoped him right when he first got it, they would never scope into the guttural pouch because it's really difficult to do. And so it grows and grows until it eventually severs the carotid artery and they bleed out. So
that is horrendous.
That was pretty horrific. And so we obviously had to make a decision there and then about Oscar, and we had decided that he needed to be put to sleep. And so we were both Alex and I have, it was really traumatic. And then last week we had to make a decision about Peggy, because she's always been epileptic. She's our dog. Always been epileptic, and we've managed her as long as we could with the pills. But she had a new bout of seizures, and she had one seizure where she kind of ran into a concrete pot and hurt her leg. And then
bless her.
I know. And then she had a second one the next day where I was on my own with the girls, and she just ran into a table leg, broke it, and Olive was screaming the house down, and Peggy had like a 10-minute seizure almost. And we were like, we cannot carry on with this. And so we had to take her to the vets as well. So we've had a really shitty, to be honest, start to the year. And it's been really, really tough. This whole winter's been really tough. We lost Maggie just before Christmas. We're fine and we're getting through it, but we just could do with no more bad news this year, basically. Touch wood. I am actually touching wood in the house. And we're getting through it, and we will be okay, and we've got lots to look forward to. But yeah, it's been a bit of a tough one so far.
Oh, I just want to cuddle you still. I think this is the thing, isn't it? You're going through parenting life, and it's kind of like what I said when I lost Leo last year. You haven't got time to stop because you're busy caring for everybody else. But these moments are real tough, aren't they? Just really, really tough.
What's been quite nice. Well, not nice. It's been difficult for Olive, but it's nice that we've all been through it as a family. They were both Peggy and Oscar were huge parts of our family. Like Olive would never have known any different without them. And she's struggled, especially with losing Peggy. She's struggled to get her head around it and doesn't understand it. So yeah, it's been a tough one. I'm not going to lie. We've had it a bit rough the last few months, but we've still got Trev, and we've got a yard full of horses that we're out doing all the time. That's hopefully bringing us in a bit of money as well, which helps because I'm still on mat leave and struggling. We are struggling for money at the moment. I feel like we're living a little bit hand to mouth at the moment, which is not good. But we're just trying to stay as positive as possible, because otherwise I think you would just get into a bit of a hole.
I think with all of these moments, it's what do you always keep saying to me, my darling? It's this too shall pass.
Yes.
And this season is temporary, but boy does it feel tough while you're in it.
God, no.
And it's just sort of like trying to keep your head up, looking to the horizon, as it were.
You know what? Do you know what I'm most looking forward to this year is badminton.
Oh yeah,
because I need that. I need a bit of inspiration with my young horse. I need something to go and watch and just get my blood up a bit about it all, about the sport. And we need a break. And as soon as I get there, we camp and we set up our tent, and it just feels like you're away from absolutely everything. But you're still in with all the horses, you're still in with all the people, you still go and see all your friends, and I just love it so much, and I just can't wait for badminton. I feel like it can't come soon enough this year.
Listeners, if you are going to badminton, let us know, because I will be there as well. Lucky me, it's 20 minutes from my house, so I've bought myself another season pass and I will be there. And I'm still decided on whether to take my toddler or not some of those days, but again, we shall see.
If you see someone looking like a pack horse with a baby on the front and a toddler dragging behind, looking very stressed,
it could well be you,
with a bottle of champagne in her hands, it's probably me. Suck it on.
If you are going, we'd love to see you. Just give us a shout. I think that's really important, though, isn't it? Like to have these things to look forward to when you're in the midst of it. And sometimes, actually, I find it really hard to get my head into like planning something that I know I'm going to look forward to, just because I'm so in it. You're just in it, whatever you're in. But I think that's a good one. I've been sort of looking at things that I can do with Lottie over the summer, because we're over the winter bit now, aren't we? As in, we're looking forward to spring. And so it's like, longer evenings, slightly more time to ride. What can I come and do next? And I was thinking to myself that I might come and see you and take her for a little spin.
That would be so wonderful. And actually, I had a lesson. So just to give you a really, really brief overview about Trev, he's like the most backwards young horse I've ever sat on. I think if I was hacking out, he would rather go backwards than forwards. And I was like, what do I do with this horse? Am I doing everything too soon? Does he need another year off? So I had a lesson yesterday with this amazing, amazing lady called Fiona Dowding, who, if anybody knows her, please book a lesson with her. She's worth every single penny that you give her. She's a mum as well, which helps. So she knows exactly what we've been through and, the confidence and everything else. So I had a lesson with her, and she basically said that everything you're doing with him is absolutely right, and you just need to keep going and then maybe give him a month off. She just made me feel so much better about everything. She said, just take all of the pressure off of the pair of you, and you will start going in the right direction naturally. And so I think that was just proof that you sometimes do just need somebody else there with you to do it. And sorry, what she also said, which is taking me back to what you were talking about, Katie, about coming over, she said you need to hack out with friends to make it more fun, because you need Trev and yourself to have a reason to get out of bed. And so, and we're a bit light on people to hack out with here. So I would love for you to box down and see me, and we can go for a little hack.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is I also hate hacking alone, so I don't do it very much, which obviously means that when I do hack her, she's not as brilliant as she could be. She's not bad, but just like she's not as confident because we just don't do it as much.
Yeah.
But it is good to have that variety, isn't it? And she's right. Sometimes you just need to just stop having such high expectations of yourself.
Yeah.
And of your horse.
I think it's more, well, you get a lot of pressure, whether people mean to or not. You do get pressure from people being, you should be doing this, you need to do this with him, you need to do that with him. And actually, if I just hacked him out for the next year, I think that would probably be the best thing for him.
I don't have that with Lots, obviously, because she's a bit older and she's 12 this year, and she's experienced things, but she's also very green in terms of schooling. Like, she came over from Ireland to the lady before me, had only ever hunted and hacked.
Yeah.
My God, I would have loved to have seen it, because I don't think she'd have been still for very long, put it that way. And the lady that had me before her, she did a bit with her, but they weren't the right personality fit.
Yeah.
So they just didn't gel very well. So she didn't do a huge amount with her. And I love schooling. I love doing a bit of everything. But with having Rafe so quickly last year, I didn't really get the chance to know her ridden well. So it does kind of feel like you're starting from scratch a bit, but I don't want to waste her. She's in her prime,
Yeah, you won't. Whatever. Somebody once said to me, the horse doesn't know what they're supposed to be doing. It's other people that are putting that pressure on you. So yeah, it's not like the horse is sitting in their stable thinking, God, why is she not taking me further than this?
The other thing that I'm just thinking of at the moment, and you're going to tell me I'm absolutely bonkers and mental, and maybe listeners, you can as well. I'm one of these people that if you've got a good thing, I have to multiply it. And so now I'm thinking, shall I breed her?
Katie, I think you know my thought on that, because you said it before I did. Don't breed from her. Just enjoy her. That's my thought on that.
I'm a very big advocate for the Irish draft, and I would love to help them be less endangered as a breed. There you go.
That's your excuse.
My husband thinks I've absolutely lost it.
Yeah, you
And
have.
maybe I have.
You have.
Maybe I have.
So talking of doing stuff with our horses, we should talk about the clinic that we were going
Yes,
to
we
run.
should.
We didn't.
Yeah, so those of you that are obviously current listeners or have been on the socials for a while might know that we planned a clinic for the 21st of March at West Wilts called the Confidence Clinic. And we had some fabulous instructors, including Georgie Goss, 5-star eventer who now rides for Ireland, Ali Surrey Dane, who's got a long list of accolades that you can look up if you like, but as our dressage coach. And then we had Jenny Winter-Leach, who we've had on the podcast, as well as Ali, who was going to come and talk to us about mindset coaching and how confidence fits in with that. Anyway, we organised this event. Had a lot of interest before it went live. Set out some ridden tickets and some spectator tickets, so people could come along. But at the end of it, we very simply didn't sell enough tickets for the event to be feasible without making a massive dent in our own personal finances. And so, yeah, we've obviously, it's not how we wanted it to go. We really want to support people with something fun to look forward to, but also like a networking opportunity with other parents. And we've got lots of stuff planned, but sometimes things just don't pan out how you plan them to. And that's all right. It's just, we will look to run something similar, maybe not quite the same format, once we've had feedback from people on what they really do want.
Because, well, I think the main learning here is that from my point of view, I think going forward would like to keep it on a bit of a smaller scale, so that we can manage the ticket sales, basically, so that if we could, if 10 of you wanted to come, then we can upscale. But actually, if only a couple of people booked onto it, would still be able to run a clinic, which I think is the way forward, because money is such an issue for people at the moment. Everybody is struggling. Like, it's not just that people, it's not just people in low paying jobs. Everything costs so much money. So
and this definitely wasn't a money making scheme on our behalf. It was more of a fun activity type thing for us, wasn't it? So
it wasn't money making, but I just think that we probably were a bit over ambitious with the amount of space that we needed, the amount of people that we needed in it. So yeah, we couldn't. It's very difficult to scale down rather than up. I think.
Yeah. So lots of learning.
Yeah, exactly. But we will definitely do something, and we hope that we've not put anybody off joining again, because we really, really feel passionately that we want to get people together, because it makes everybody feel so much better and a bit more inspired and helps people.
Kick any confidence demons to the curb, really, when you are in a place where other people are struggling with the same stuff.
Oh, good Lord. My confidence is awful at the moment. Sitting like a little weeble.
Well, I'm sure lots of people can relate.
Yeah, I said to Fiona, I was like, see, my confidence isn't what it used to be. And she was like, I can see that. Just absolutely shitting myself at every corner that he's going to do something. And this poor Trev, he's never done anything wrong. Like, doesn't deserve that, to be honest.
Sometimes we don't need a reason, though. It's our minds, isn't it? And that was one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk to Jenny about, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, their minds make the stories up for them.
Absolutely.
But
especially mums, like I don't know about any other listeners, but I'll be driving along and all of a sudden I've like created this awful crash in my head where the kids are all hurt and I'm hurt and we're all dead, like just horrific stuff, catastrophizing. Is that the right word, Katie?
That is the right word.
Yeah.
That is the right word.
And I do it on the back of a horse as well. And I'm like, what are you doing? My brain just goes to these places. Maybe it's because I've not got a job at the moment. I'm not working.
I was going to say, actually, I feel like I cannot relate on this one at the moment because I don't have a spare moment to think about anything else. But I'm sure if I did have a little bit more, I'd fill it with things that are completely unhelpful for my life. Yeah.
But it's completely unhelpful. Ridiculous.
So yeah, I guess this might be a good place to sort of wrap things up, I guess, and make it short and sweet. But essentially, yeah, this is us saying to you listeners, we're going to go back to what we came here to do.
We're making
and hopefully get you guys along for the ride still. So if you've got ideas or people that you want on the podcast, again, please just get in touch, let us know. All ideas are good ideas. We totally appreciate the love and support. And yeah, if you want to know anything in particular about our horses, what we're doing, or tell us what you're doing with your horses, all info is good info. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
We would.
So is there anything else we need to say?
Just to mirror what you said, we always want to hear from you. We are, like we said at the beginning, we are both really sorry that we've not managed to actually get any content out there, but we are picking it back up. We're making a plan and we're going to make time now that we've got more hours in the day, which will really help us all, won't it?
Yeah, I think so. And hey, with the winter in the rearview mirror, hopefully, everybody else can just feel a bit more joy. So we're going to bring it. We're going to bring some joy.
We're bringing it, and we'll see you at Badders, hopefully, as well.
Yeah. All right, chaps, this feels like a good one. We will see you in the very next podcast, but thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode from the Equestrian Mums Club. It's been great to have you along for the ride. We've been your hosts, Katie Allen Clark and Sophie Conway. Make sure to hit the follow button to hear more from us as we dig deeper into the world of ponies and parenthood. And until next time, stay smiling, safe, and stay sane.